Hey guys, what's up? Elementsaber BBG 101 here. Earlier this afternoon, I helped feature in a video on my friend Ken Nation Gaming's channel, and I showed a basically 3-card Elementsaber hand loop combination that used Space Connector, Palace of the Elemental Lords, and basically any one of these 8 warrior extenders, so this one being the best one because you could chain block using that. And mind you, I built this deck in like 15-20 minutes, and I haven't really gotten jack diddly squat for testing it. So I ended up very quickly after those videos figuring out a much more consistent combo to go with it that I would like to go ahead and showcase for that real quick. So, like for starters, you're going to go ahead and have the Space Connector. You're going to activate its effect, especially some of the Aqua Dolphin from the deck, but you're going to be chaining the Blue Mountain Butter Spy as to avoid Ash Blossom or anything like that. So you're going to summon the Aqua Dolphin from the deck, who just so happens to be Water Attribute. Now you'll have to keep that in mind. So first things first, it's like you really do need to activate the Neospatian Aqua Dolphin's effect to pitch a card from your hand for later purposes, and if you happen to hit a card out of your opponent's hand, then good for you. That makes your life a little easier. So at that point, you want to go ahead and activate the Palace of the Elemental Lords, in which, once per turn, you can add 1 element or Elementsaber monster from your deck to your hand, and that effect is not even hard once per turn. So if you open up with multiple copies of it, like I did against Ed earlier, then good for you. You're in a good state. So you'll be adding the Elementsaber Lapalia Mana. Now, here's where some of the fun comes in, because you're going to be linking off 2 of the monsters there to go into the copy of Isold. Whenever Isold is summoned, you're going to add a copy of Elementsaber Nalutarian, who is already a water attribute. Since you can't summon it, or you can't really use its effects either, you need to get it into the graveyard. To do that, we're going to go ahead and send the Divine Sword Phoenix Blade and the Axe of Fools to the graveyard in order to summon the Makani. Now, the Makani, on the other hand, has the effect that you can send 1 Elementsaber from your hand to the graveyard to add 1 Elemental Lord. You'll be pitching the otherwise useless Nalu to the graveyard in order to add the Mu and Glacia. Now here's where the Elementsaber Lapalia Mana comes in handy with the Palace, because Palace will allow you to, once per turn, send them from the deck to the graveyard. So you'll send whichever 2 you really want, which in this case will do the Aina and the regular Lapalia to the graveyard, in order to special summon it. Because if we look at the number of waters and Elementsabers that can change your attributes at your disposal now, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, because this is also a water attribute naturally, so it works towards your count. So you basically have your conditions met inherently, because they can change their attributes. From here, here's where the jankiness comes in, because you're going to go ahead and leave these 2 off to go into Summon Sorceress. Since you already have your conditions met there, I found out that you really do not need to rely on giving your opponent a monster unless circumstances specify otherwise. Say you don't open up with the Palace, so you'll only discard 4 usually, but in this case this will allow for a full-on discards of 6 cards if performed right. But because you already have those attributes and whatnot, the numbers met, you can go ahead and special summon the Ancient Cloak instead. Now here's where the combo comes in. You're going to go ahead, link them off, and you are going to be, or my apologies, that was preemptive. You're going to link these 2 off in order to go into Nightmare Cerberus. And you specifically want it in this zone so that you can trigger your Shade Brigand or your Shade Brigandee later on during your opponent's next turn. And at that point, you can go ahead and link these off to go into Gungler Dragon, right up here. My bad. From here, you're going to be able to start using some of your recurring grave effects. You're going to be able to banish Phantom Knights of Ancient Cloak in order to add Silent Boots. So you now have these 3 cards in hand that you can use. And that's going to be banished. you do not want to use your copy of Phoenix Blade yet because you want to guarantee that you discard the Silent Boots. So from here, you're going to go ahead and special summon the Moulin Glacia directly below the Gumbler. Gumbler and Moulin Glacia will build the trigger, and you'll discard a total of 4 cards from your opponent's hand, including the Phantom Knights of Silent Boots from your own hand, to which you can then go ahead and use that to your advantage, banishing that to add Brigandine, which you'll then be able to set, and returning the Phoenix Blade to your hand by banishing whatever 2 warriors. Since you already summoned the Moulin Glacia, you can banish the Elementsabers as well, but we'll just banish those 2, so that's now in your hand. Now, this is where it's important as to whether or not you got the Aqua Dolphins effect off earlier and you discard a card from your opponent's hand, because this will be the 6th card, the card that your opponent draws during their turn, because you pass turn at that point, and these monsters are going to be beefed up significantly because of the Palace, because, well, gains 200 attack for each different attribute in the graveyard, and I believe that would be, let's see here, how much is it? We got light, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So it's 1,000 attack each. So 26, 38, 4K. Unfortunately, you won't be able to use Nightmare Cerberus's effect in order to keep them from being destroyed via card effects. But during their draw phase, they draw for turn. You activate the Shade Brigandine, and you're going to special summon it next to Nightmare Cerberus. Pitching this, there goes their 6th card. Gone, good, gone like a freight train. And that's the best way to run this combo, I would say, if you open up with the Neospace Connector and one of the Warrior Extenders, because it'll allow you to do the full-on discard 6 a lot more consistently. And if they do interrupt you, say with an Ash Veiler or whatever, you can actually have a follow-up play because you still have the other cards sent to the graveyard.